Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Today's topic is withholding order or garnishment. We are going to cover this topic. Deductions. This is also one kind of deduction. If we talk about deduction, we saw only one deduction, that is loan repayment that we created. It's a custom deduction we created. But this one is garnishments. What are the types of garnishments we have in Workday? Workday is supporting and amounts and percentages. Different types of garnishments. What data we need in order to process the garnishment. After assigning the garnishment to an employee, how to proceed for testing. On top of that, amendments adding additional amount, defining priority. What happens if an employee has multiple garnishments? We will cover the topic today. Before that, what do you mean by garnishments or withholding orders? Is it a mandatory deduction, or who is authorized to impose this deduction for employee? The legal entities. The legal entities. They are authorized to impose this deduction, not employer. Not employee can take any call. We'll take few examples. Types of garnishments. We have normally two types of garnishments. Or let's call withholding order, and Workday one is voluntary. This normally will proceed with the payroll input. Voluntary withholding order. Involuntary withholding order. Voluntary withholding order means employee him or herself voluntarily contributing some amount to a charitable trust. Or, let's say, due to this current pandemic crisis, maybe a group of employees from the organization or employer only asks the employees, say 1 day of salary. Can you please contribute to some salary? Employee him or herself. They're voluntarily doing. For this, remember one point in Workday, we don't have any option. We have to process with payroll input. The most important one is involuntary garnishment. We have different types of involuntary garnishments. One support. Or support. Creditor. Or any federal or state tax levies. We'll go with some examples. These are little kind of emotional. Child support. Let's say a parent has not taken care of a child. In country like Indonesia, we have strict guidelines, especially Child Protection Act. We have the parents are responsible to take care of all child, expenses whatever, until certain child reaches to certain age, which includes daily maintenance, and also a feeding related, and also education related, productive related. Also any emergency hospitals, etc. All the expenses have to be taken care by the parents. sometimes some. If any of the parent is not taking care of the child due to issues between the spouse or any other reasons. This is a Production Act chair production team who can directly go ahead and ask the parent to care of the child. And also they can impose, what is it? Lawful activities. I'm not going in any detail because they are something related to a few things. Similarly, spouse support. If either the spouse is separated and one of the spouse is not in a position in the earnings, the spouse has to support or help until the other spouse is getting into the job or a maintenance amount needs to be paid. This separation activities are garnishment more interesting. And quite often we can see we'll get another request. I would like to go with an example here. Let's assume we have an employee called Adam. Who will take 1 second? This will take one employee. Does he already have garnishments? But he doesn't have any. I will also his personal information just to track married or his single. That will go with creator management. The process remains same, no issue. Assume we have an employee called Mr. Unrualt. Mr. Now he is working for a company, Global Modern Services, where I can see that information. I can see here. Global Modern Services is the company he is working for under tax department. Now let's take a scenario. Mr. Walton is working with the Global Modern Services. Who is the employer? The employer, the short form Global Services employee. Now Mr. Walton has taken some loan from the Citibank. What has taken some loan around? 10,000 has taken loan from Citibank. Walton to acquire the loan from the Citibank, he submitted the proof of copies of his pay slips, wage slips, or wage to documents. Citibank has assessed how much his employee is earning. Based on that, they have processed this 10,000 and Mr. Walton agreed to the Citibank. I'm going to pay a monthly MI every month. I will pay around $1,000. This is an agreement. Everything is going good. First, the loan has been created in Walter's accounts and Walter utilized this amount. And every month Walter start paying the EMI. First month he paid, second month he paid, third month he paid, fourth month he paid, fifth month he didn't pay, sixth month he didn't pay, seventh month he didn't pay. Continuously, he became default for 3 months. Now Citibank has sent a, what I'm saying is just for an example, it can be different. The Citibank, they will maintain a tracker. They won't leave any leave, in a sense. As for their policies, if any employee become 3 months continuously not able to pay, they'll consider the employee as a defaulter and they'll issue a general notice to the vaulter. There are 3 months on and on amounts are pending, including interest. For you have to pay around 3,000 US dollars. Please pay immediately. Vaulter has received the document. And then he didn't have taken any action. He didn't try to reach out to Citibank. He take it easily. Citibank has tried multiple times with Mr. Walter through calls, through emails, through regular mail to the house address. But Walter is not responding. What bank will do now in this scenario? They tried their best to reach out to this guy. He is not responding. They sent a couple of mails, but this guy is not responding. Not respond to the calls. What Citibank will do? Any guess, mom? They're going to issue a punishment. Now the Citibank has a proof of documents. What proof of documents they have? They have a proof employee is earning. How much is earning they have? They have proof of employee working company. They have proof of all signed documents. He agreed to pay all the amount. Everything here they have. Now all the documents, their document, and they will file a case in the legal cell. Let's report. Issue. Now all the documents they will take in and there will be some advocate along the Citibank. They will put one case now from the case side. Again, one document will be sent to the employee. This is a case number. You're required to attend and give an explanation why you are not able to pay. Please give me a valid reason. Let's assume this guy is still not responded. He taken easily. Second time they sent. Third time they will declare. Declare in the sense of technical terms. I don't know what they will say. They will declare the case to Citibank in favor, saying that this employee not responding. We are giving the order favor to the Citibank. What is the order? Order. One correction. They will make the case for Citibank and immediately this code will send out a notice to the employer directly. No employee now. This code will send out. I'm very bad in this diagram. This code directly skip all the people. That way. Oh, sorry guys. Directly send out the notice to employer. No back. Now whenever they send in the note to the employer has to respect that order. This code will ask certain questions. Is this employee working in your organization? From how many of the employees working? What is his gross total amount? What is his net amount? What is total dependence? Is there any dependence with disability? Is this employee that I leverage? All the employees single or married. Certain details they will ask the employer has to provide. From the employer, one document will come back to the court. Now court has proof. What is the total debt need to pay to the Citibank? What is the amount the employees are need under certain amounts? The court will ask the employer hold certain amount from the employee's paycheck and pay the amount directly to directly to the entity, the bank, or paid back to the court. Court will pay to the city back. How they will manage is up to their interest. Advocates, now there's no role of employee directly. They sent a document to employer and told the employer hold 1,000 or hold $500 on each paycheck. On each paycheck, hold finally us dollars and pay the amount to the bank. Once they receive the document, there will be a meeting scheduled with the Walton by the people, someone, and they'll explain. We have received this gun order from you. We need a confirmation email from you. You are saying accepting this order. He will acknowledge I'm ready to pay some amount from this paycheck. There is no option to excuse. Every month, $500 every month. This is based on the pay. Frequency. Amount needs to be detected. Now the next step is here. Far as what has happened outside of the Workday application. There's no Workday application here. Now the employees agreed to pay $500. Now we will come into the picture. A request will come from the employer or customer asking us create a garnishment or withholding order for employee Walton. Now we have to ask question. What question you have to ask? We will create what is the order number when the order has released. Order issued from where? You should when I'm in a particular. And then what else? What is the total debt amount? Is this employee is going to pay lump sum or ongoing? And what is the maximum amount we can hold for paycheck? What is the employer fees to process this garnishment? IFF and certain additional information. We have to ask all the details because some of the fields are optional. Some of the fields are mandatory. We need all the details to record because whenever we are detecting certain garnishments on the employee, we have full evidence. Evidence proof of documents. Later, the employee should not question us. Let's see on the system how we are going to create a garnishment before moving on to that. Any questions? Ma'am, on the example, what I said or any examples you need are not clear. No, I'm good. Now let's see. Go to the worker. We are Andrew Walton. Now from upcoming paycheck on what this employee has to pay, VAR 100. How to record? I have two options. Option 1 is go to the pay tab. I want to see his pay results first because we're going to deduct last pay for competitive. Is February 1st or not? You can get it. Now one option, go to the withholding orders. Record of a correlated actions. Payroll. Record yours withholding order or task. It's not the option you can choose. Mass load also possible through AB. A B, we have separate session. I will explain. Don't worry. Pay tab withholding order record. Andrew Walton. What is the order type? Greater garnishment. Remaining a little amount. I mean certain greater garnishment. But our request, please explore and select all the option during your practice. But the pattern remains same. Only child. One spouse will ask some more information because they'll continue continually. The amount will be deducted. Case number. The document we will ask from the customer to provide. It has a case number. Randomly, I'm giving some case number now. Withholding order ID. Withholding order. ID is nothing but a reference ID. Whenever you create a garnishment system, automatically generates withholding order ID. Or if you would like to give some specific ID, you can mention here. Or if you keep this field as blank, bot automatically generates the ID. Order number is also has to issue by the court. Randomly, I'm giving some number. Order date. When this order has been issued. When this order has been made. Let's say the order has been made from 1/1/2009. When this order has received by the employer. When this order has received by the employer. Let's say on same month we will take 1/15/2009. When the deduction should start. I'm going to say based on the pay cycle. February 1st, 2019 onwards, deduction should start. Deduction begin. Is there any end date? Normally for lump sum payment, we will specify the same end date. One lump sum employee is paying. If it is ongoing, please don't enter any end date or you can estimate 500 multi total debt. They were paid by frequency. For example, employee has to pay $5,000 per paycheck $500. Their employees are ready to pay. Which means 10 months the employee is going to pay. From here onwards tentatively, you can select 10 months. Or else you can ignore. Ignore it as blank. But we have to keep monitor. Scroll down. Company by default. It has picked up from the employee profile. In future, if you want to inactivate this order, you can select the checkbox that it doesn't process in the payroll. I will discuss this one as part of amendments. Type. I'm selecting amount and order. Percentage also is there. I'm going with amount type greater. How much the employee has to pay per frequency? For US dollars. Pay frequency picked up from the employee pay group. Associated pay frequency. Semi-monthly for every semi-monthly employee paying $500. What is the total debt amount employee needs to pay? File as a user list. What is the average monthly limit system cannot process? $US. The per semi-monthly, 2 semi-monthly for 1 month. $1,000 is a monthly limit. Per pay period per paycheck $500. Scroll up. Where this has been issued. This guy is part of which state? San Francisco, issued in San Francisco. Oh, California State. This one, please. I will check and come back to you. It's a new rule. Workday has given the field. Even Alzheimer's are new to this field. Check and come back to maybe in 1 or 2 sessions, please. It's not a group of data. Payroll tax authority it has picked up from directly from the employee work location state. California is not an understand. Direction recipient. Who is going to receive this deduction? In this scenario, what happens? 2 scenarios. Court may ask them, employer paid directly to the Citibank. Court may ask the employer pay to the account associated with the legal cell. Citibank will be withdrawn. That court has a visibility. Employer paying bank also visibility. They're taking the amount from the legal cell either of the things based on whatever the judgment. Relation recipient. Let's say I will go with San Francisco. If there is anything exists, Greater California Revenue Department. I'll select this one existing. We can also create our own deduction recipient. Clear deduction recipient. How we are going to pay the amount NEFTA card or EFT or wire. You can select those options through check. Annual. Extraordinary ID Citibank. They have their own tax that you can give. And a bank address or something we can provide here. I'm not going with this, but this is how we can configure. Originating entity. Let's say a legal cell. Oh, case by Citibank. Citibank is an entity. From there is coming through. It's a free text field. What are the garnishment type, subtype in the greater garnishment for the subcategory? Let's say consumer CCT. Now these are for to evaluate whether the employee is below poverty level or employee is well earning or not, just to understand. Is this employee head of household? The only guy who is working in the home or earning total number of dependents. This employee is this worker? Is this employee is a laborer or mechanic or a deliverer? Is this employee is the below poverty level? These are the proofs for the employee. He can go on fight against the bank and bank saying that I can't pay this much because of these details. I can pay only this. Negotiations. Why is it important to put those details in Workday? Does it impact the processing? Of course not. That is going to be a very huge topic. In few minutes I will back to the topic. Is that? Thank you. Labor and mechanic. Worker income is poverty level. Employee weekly gross good cost limit. What are the employee expert card? No learnings which include bonus, tips, everything. Memo. Memo is nothing but a free text field. We can give order received. Something like that. We can copy paste. Is the last ticket. It's like a comment. Scroll down. Order fees, select this. Or pay period. Employer fee. Employer is recording these details. Employee has to process the check. Employer has to deposit the amount. Employer also will charge a very minimal amount. Some other companies, they will do a free of cost. Let's say one per limit per month is only $1. Additionally, for processing charges by any given time, if you want to override the fee schedule, you can select over. It will ask you from when to when. For example, first 6 months employee paid to remain as 6 months. I don't want to charge this as one. You can particular dates also you can specify. Then attachments here, the quota etc. will be there. We'll copy and attach here. It's a kind of a proof and evidence. Just select files. It asks to attach the documents, drag or drop, and the files will be attached here. Local minimum wage in USA. We have each state has a minimum wage concept in each state. There's a minimum wage. You can also enter the minimum wage here. Not mandatory because we already have inbuilt tables. Whenever the minimum wage is changed, the tables will be updated. Table sensors in the cloud, not mandatory. You have to capture this. This is required when it is required. Whenever there is an announcement from the state government saying that the minimum wage we are going to revise. This is an amount is going to be revised by the time those details are not available. Workday manually overriding those values by entering here. At this moment, please ignore not. Now after entering all the details, before any questions here, what data will this might be? If you're giving an interview, one of the questions, what are the details you need in order to record a garnishment? Select. Let me see if there's an errors. Now let's discuss the questions. Interesting questions. The first question, let's talk some scenarios. Effect. The employee has multiple orders. Which one should go first? What process? How to add additional amount to existing withholding order. How to hold the withholding order, which means not process for particular pay cycle. And then how to define priority, how to inactivate garnishment or withholding order. And the last question is what happens if employees garnish multiple garnishment amounts. Greater than. Perfect. Let's see the first one. If your employees' multiple garnishments are withholding orders, which one should go first? Is there any rule we have? Let's say the employee has the 3 garnishments. The employee has 3 garnishment approximately. Employee needs to pay $2,000 per month. Employee total earnings per month itself $3,000, $700. If he paid $2,000, he will be left with only $700. That is not enough for to survive. Which one should go first? Any idea which garnishment has high priority? No, child support always stays for priority 1. P1 always goes for child support, P2 will goes for spouse support plus tax length. If any state or federal, the last unleashed prior to will come to create. This is not. I'm saying not what they also say. Melissa, our friend asked one question. Hi Melissa, can please repeat the question, ma'am, for me? I said why we need these details, dependent details, poverty level, etc. Correct? Why does Workday need that? I mean because it's a legal order we have to comply. We have to comply, but the legal order also should come based on the CGPA, Consumer Grants Protection. What did this act? This act really helps and protects the employee from these kinds of issues. What is gone? What this act will tell. If any employee has multiple garnishments, first take the amount disposable net. What is disposable? Net earnings minus taxes minus benefits. Directions minus regular direction. Whatever the amount left with the employee, in which 40% employee can pay for this garnishment, not total amount. Example, an employee disposable net is $10,000, which means it doesn't mean the $10,000 he has to pay for garnishment. He can pay maximum up to $4,000. Whenever the order is given, they will review the CGPA rules. That's why the legal cell asks the employer provide total dependent details, employee labor and mechanic, total wage per annum dependents, head of household. All the information. This is required for reporting purpose for legal dollars. Any questions? If possible, in the Wikipedia, by I mean whenever you have some time read this one. Any ERP application should adapt, should work based on the CGPA rules. If I give 10,000 employee earning net 10,000, I cannot get total 10,000. It's a legal issue. Employee has to go and sue the employer or the person who gave the order. If employee has 10 salons, is the net amount he can pay for the garnishment only 4 salons because he has to survive. His dependents are dead. He also has to lead the life. These grants will protect the employee. Any questions? This is out of the Workday box. But when you sit with the customers, we will also learn from them. Now let's proceed for further. Because these are the questions normally customers will ask us, we should have ready answer. If your employer has multiple orders, which one should go first? Always child support. Priority 2 is false support and taxes. How to add additional amount to existing garnishment? Simple, go to the worker garnishment. Currently I didn't process it here. Once you record this, let me go to some tab and refresh. Pay tab Withholding Order. This is a withholding order related action. Go to Withholding Order. Edit the garnishment. And add the amount which you would like to process, $100 to $1,000 and something. What is our next question? How to hold the withholding order. Hold in the sense, don't process for particular money. For example, order is issued, employer ready to deduct the amount. Employee went to the Citibank and he gave assurance. Hey, don't go with the orders underline. I'm going to settle. I'm ready to settle total amount. I will pay settlement. Now we no need to deduct. Inactivate it until you will get a settlement document. Re-inactivate, it is nothing but hold. How to different priority when the employee has multiple garnishments. Go back to the withholding order page. The action withholding order, you can have all priority. Enter the priority 1 by default. Final is least 1. Now you can give one means. This direction should happen first. If the employee has 3 garnishment, first priority goes to here. That is priority. Be different this way. What is our next question? Inactivate garnishment, hold is same. What happens if the employee has multiple garnishment amount greater than his earnings? This is a very rare issue because before it's coming into our hand, record a garnishment, the court will validate the employee disposable net. Court will validate the employee disposable net. Or action is 0. Or action is 0 here. We are not the decision makers. Whenever the order is checking. For example, let's take a scenario. Same Citibank has been put the case on the employee. Employer court has asked the employer provide all the documents. Once the document has been received, court has reviewed and all notice or observe, the employee is already paying certain deductions. Court is not going to give any order at that moment. The order is on hold until you clear the previous dues. This garnishment is not going to be issued. This order is not going to be issued. Such things will happen. Let's do a quick test. Whether this garnishment has been successfully processed or not. I'm going to run the payroll. And I cannot recalculate because the payroll has been successfully completed. Yesterday we generated the paychecks. I'm going to rerun the payroll for this worker, Andrew Walton. I'm going to run the payroll freshly. Let's go here. Pay calculation. Pay period. Oh, we can just search the guy only instead of running pay for all the people. But anyhow, for testing it will help. And point to remember, we didn't create any deduction. Garnishment also a deduction. We have inbuilt feature already available. We just recorded on. We're running the payroll. We are not created a deduction here. Like loan repayment. How we have created, we are not creating. Any error? Go to this person. Now we should have one more row here. Let me refresh. Refresh in a sense, Just select anywhere in the page. 3 rows. We have go to his payslip. The reductions of the pay result. Pay result view payslip. Let's see the greater garnishment has been processed. Oh no, if not we have to troubleshoot. The price we should process. Post. Well, it's processed. Onto 3 processes. $500 employer fee to $1. Any questions? One request here is, I just created amount based. We do have percentage based. We do have spouse. We do have child support. I request you, whenever you're doing practice, private percentage. It's simple. I entered a mode that I will enter percentage and base pay. Then those is employee base pay. I wanted it. Something like that. Please explore those options. Still, if you run into any errors, let me know. I'm happy to help. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.